Hey guys, Folkbanger here with another entry in my custom Fire Emblem Heroes banner series. Previously on this series, we've adapted franchises that aren't part of the Fire Emblem core series, such as Tokyo Mirage Sessions and Vocaloid, into the Fire Emblem Heroes game. Today is no different, and we'll be tackling one of the JRPG giants to take the center stage recently, Persona 5. This game took the world by storm, and it stole my heart, becoming my personal favorite game of all time before I was even able to play it for myself. So I thought, what better way to show my appreciation for the game I love the most than to put in a game I love a little less. But I'm still a noob when it comes to Persona franchise, so I knew I'd need to raise my social link and find someone who can help me design these characters. So joining me today is Skull, who runs the FanSite Twitter account. Please Skull, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Skull, and I run a one-stop shop for all sorts of things Persona called ThePhanSite. While I'm not known for Fire Emblem Heroes, I certainly have played them from time to time, so when I was approached with bringing the Phantom Thieves, theoretically, to Fire Emblem Heroes, I certainly couldn't say no.
Skull's gonna lend me a hand talking about each unit, since there are quite a few to talk about. So without further ado, let's get started with the star of Persona 5, Ren Amamiya, better known by his codename, Joker. Ren Amamiya is the leader of the Phantom Thieves, being the first of the group to awaken to the powers of his persona. When he's not tearing it up in the cognitive world, Ren goes to school at Shujin Academy as a second-year student. Being the protagonist of Persona 5, his personality is mostly in the hands of the player, but he tends to be a soft-spoken, serious person most of the time. In FEH, Ren takes the role of a sword unit. His weapon of choice in Persona 5 is daggers, but his combat style is more akin to a sword fighter. Ren's base stats are 47, 35, 39, 29, 22 for a BST of 172. Ren's stats are very generalized for a fast melee unit, with good speed and attack and better defense over his res. His HP is also pretty good, so he'll be able to take a hit or two. Ren's weapon in FEH is the Paradise Lost, his best dagger from Persona 5. Paradise Lost has 16 might and grants attack plus 3, making it a 19 might weapon. It also grants plus 5 to all stats when he's beside an ally, similar to Chrom and Lucina's Bon Falchion Refine. This pairs well with his exclusive assist's Baton Pass. Baton Pass swaps Ren and his target's positions, just like the swap assist, but it also grants bonus doubler to whoever he swaps with. This reflects how the Baton Pass mechanic in Persona 5 grants bonus stats to the unit who takes the batons. Speaking of bonuses, Ren's A skill is bonus doubler, meaning he'll double any visible buffs he receives. This combos with his exclusive B skill, the Trickster. The Trickster grants plus 5 to all stats to both Ren and whoever he targets with a movement assist, just like Baton Pass. With this buff, his Paradise Lost buff, and bonus doubler, Ren can give himself an impressive plus 15 in all stats, meaning he'll definitely be a powerful unit in the enemy phase or after being refreshed. Finally, Ren's C skill is Infantry Breath, which grants plus 2 defense and res, as well as the breath effect to any infantry allies he's adjacent to, which he often will be if he uses Baton Pass and the Trickster to buff up an ally. Overall, Ren is a jack of all trades and a master of them too. He can give himself an impressive number of buffs just by standing next to an ally, making him strong for combat, but he's also an excellent support unit, granting lots of buffs and extra effects to allies he's close to. He can do whatever you need him to, as a flexible leader should be able to.
You made me wait quite a while. You seek power, correct? Then let us form a pact. Since your name has been disgraced already, why not hoist the flag and wreak havoc? The other you who exists within desires it thus. I am thou, thou art I. There is no turning back. The skull of rebellion is your flag henceforth!
What can you do? Cower in fear and watch! This goes well.
Right on. What's up, Persona? This effing rocks! Now that I got this power, it's time for payback! Yo, I'm ready. Bring it!
Don't mock me, you brat!
Blast him away, Captain Kid!
Next up, we have Ryuji Sakamoto, known by his codename Skull, just like me. Ryuji is a second year at Shujin Academy, just like Ren, though they aren't in the same class. Ryuji used to be a star runner for the track and field team before an incident caused him to sustain a leg injury that would force him to stop running competitively. Ryuji's a bit of an outcast and loudmouth, but out of all the Phantom Thieves, he is the one who's closest to Ren, since they entered the palace for the first time together. In Fire Emblem Heroes, Ryuji takes the role of a lance unit, based on his weapon of choice in Persona being bludgeons. The motion of a bludgeon better suits an axe for Fire Emblem Heroes, but the shape of most of his weapons is closer to lances, so we went with that. Ryuji's base stats are 51, 40, 34, 27, 19 for a BST of 171. Ryuji's high attack means he'll be hitting hard, and his middling speed of 34 means he isn't terribly slow, but he also needs a little investment to make him up to par with the speedy units we have today. His bulk is okay, with mediocre defense and pretty bad resistance, but with high enough HP stat to counteract that. Ryuji's weapon in Fire Emblem Heroes is the Ryuji Jingo Ban, his best melee weapon in Persona 5. It has 16 might and grants plus 3 defense, as well as granting the effect of Sturdy Impact, which is plus 6 attack and plus 10 defense, as well as denying a foe's follow-up attack when he initiates combat. This makes Ryuji hit even harder, as well as make it so he can take a retaliation hit against the physical foe in combat. To pair with this, his special is Ignis, which does damage based on 80% of his defense. This means, without any outside support, Ryuji's Ignis will do a solid 32 damage when triggered, enough to put a dent in most units. Ryuji's A skill is Heavy Blade, a skill not often seen in the A slot due to its better utility as a seal, but it works great for Ryuji. His high attack stat means that he'll get the boost from Heavy Blade more often than not, allowing him to trigger Ignis a lot more often. Coupled with his B skill, Wrath, Ryuji's damage output is greatly boosted, with an additional 10 damage as well as a special cooldown reduction if he has low HP. This means, under the right conditions, Ryuji will be firing off a huge 42 damage Ignis on top of whatever damage his high attack stat can dish out. Overall, Ryuji's a good physical bruiser with excellent trigger conditions, and he'd definitely stand out among the infantry lance users in the game, if he were really being added.
Alright, time for some pain!
There's that
Don't come back! Oh shit! Oh shit, it's them!
You amateur! Stay still! Hey you! You can fight, right? Let's go! Come!
You got one of those things too?
We will promptly shut them up.
Next up, we have Morgana, also known by his codename Mona. Morgana is a cat-like monster from the cognitive world who appears before Ren and Ryuji as they attempt to escape Kamoshida's palace and offers them aid with their new powers. He later then joins the Phantom Thieves in hopes of finding out who he is and where he came from. In the real world, Morgana appears as a regular cat, though he can speak with the members of the Phantom Thieves. In FEH, Morgana takes the role of a colorless bow unit, with his weapon being based off of his ranged weapon of choice in Persona 5, slingshots, as they both have the same sort of action when you fire them. Morgana's base stats are 43, 37, 39, 19, 29 for a BST of 167. This makes Morgana a fast and hard-hitting archer, with enough res to tank hits from mages who will counterattack his bow shots. His weapon of choice in FEH is Sudarsana, his best slingshot in Persona 5. It has 8 might and inflicts 2 speed, which means it is a brave style bow. It also has accelerated special trigger and effective against flying foes. Being a brave bow, this means that Morgana has the potential to quad attack, and this pairs well with his special Luna, a 3-turn cooldown special, which can proc if he lands all 4 hits. His B slot is Lull Speed Defense 3, which inflicts -3 speed and defense on the foe, as well as reverting any buffs that they have during combat. This means that Morgana's chances of getting a quad are greatly boosted when he's in combat, and he also deals more damage thanks to the defense lowering. His C slot is Breath of Life 3, which is a rarely seen skill, but it reflects his ability to heal his allies in Persona 5. Overall, Morgana will make a great addition to any team, especially with his preferred brave bow style weapon. He'll hit much harder than any other archer could with just the regular brave bow plus. He also can debuff with his skill, which means he doesn't need to have that much support, but he can provide it using Breath of Life 3.
Time for some bloodshed! All out attack!
My, it's taken far too long. Tell me, who is going to avenge her? You don't. Forgiving him was never the option. Such is the scream of the other you that dwells within. I am thou, thou art I. We can finally forge a contract.
I hear you, Carmen.
You're right! No more holding back! There you go. Nothing can be solved by restraining yourself. Understand? Then I'll gladly lend you my strength.
You know what? I'm not some cheap girl you can toy with, you scumbag.
Bitch!
You stole everything from Shiho. You destroyed her. Now it's your turn. I will rob you of everything!
How dare you! Enough of your insolence!
No, I've had enough of you. No one's gonna stop me now. Let's go, Carmen!
Next up, we have An Takamaki, known by her codename Panther. Like Ren and Ryuji, An is a second year at Shujin Academy, but unlike Ryuji, Ren and An are in the same class. Outside of school, An works as a part-time model, using her American heritage to dazzle with her looks, but sometimes they can get her into trouble. Luckily, An learned to stand up for herself, and gained the power of a persona because of it. In Fire Emblem Heroes, An takes the role of a red mage, based on her persona's adept use of fire-based skills. An's base stats are 42, 41, 20, 23, 42 for a BST of 168. An boasts 2 high stats, attack and resistance. This makes her an excellent mage tank and magical nuke at the same time, though their speed and physical bulk leave a lot to be desired. Just keep her out of close combat and she'll serve you well. Ann's weapon in Fire Emblem Heroes is Miragi Daine, one of her Persona's best skills. Miragi Daine is part of a family of skills that hit all opponents in battle, so we replicated that in Fire Emblem Heroes by having it work similarly to the Pain Plus staff. Miragi Daine has 14 might, grants triangle adept to the user, in this case Ann, and deals 10 damage to the target and foes within 2 spaces of the target after combat. This theme of splash damage continues with Ann's exclusive special, Blazing Hell, which is based on her other fire skill her Persona can use. Blazing Hell deals damage equal to 1.5 times Ann's attack stat minus the target's resistance stat, similar to the existing skill Blazing Flame, but the area of effect is much larger, which you'll see on screen right now. This means Ann can decimate her foes from afar, and then have her allies swoop in for some easy kills. Ann's A skill is her attack/resistance bond, which boosts her already tremendous attack and resistance even higher when she's near an ally. A very basic skill, but allows her to hit much harder. Her B skill is Special Spiral, which will allow her to launch off Blazing Hell a lot faster after its first use. Speaking of, her C skill, Savage Blow, pairs up perfectly with her Miragi Daine Blazing Hell combo, dealing an extra 7 damage after combat. Ann's not going to let anyone stand in her way. Overall, Ann is one of the more purely power-based units on the banner, with insane nuking potential and even insaner splash damage output. Just watch out for any physical units who might take her out.
Finish this! Beat him up! Beautiful rose has thorns.
Have you finally come to your senses? How foolishly you averted your eyes from the truth. A deplorable imitation indeed. Best you part from that aspect of yourself. Let us now forge a contract. I am thou, thou art I. The world is filled with both beauty and vice. It is time you teach people which is which.
Very well. Come! Goemon! A breathtaking sight. Imitations they may be, but together they make a fine spectacle. Though the flowers of evil blossom, be it known, abominations are fated to perish!
Whoa, this is impressive!
Who do you think you are? The price for your insolence will be death! Where are my guards? Kill them all!
The children who adored you as father. The prospects of your pupils. How many did you trample upon? How many dreams did you exchange for riches? No matter what it takes, I will bring you to justice! Very well, bring it on!
Next up we have Yusuke Kitagawa, also known by his codename Fox. Yusuke is an aspiring artist who works under the tutelage of Madarame, his master, and also the master of his dearly departed mother. When he's not in the Phantom Thieves, Yusuke spends his time painting and attending a school that's not the same as the rest of the students. In FEH, Yusuke takes the role of a green mage. Yusuke is more well known for his sword skills, but we felt like there were going to be too many sword-based characters if we based them all on their melee weapons, so we decided to base Yusuke off of his persona's ability to use ice skills. Ice isn't an element that is well represented in FEH, but the tome Blizzard is green, so we decided to make him a green tome unit as well. Yusuke's base stats are 47, 39, 37, 23, 21 for a BST of 167. Yusuke hits hard and fast, and he's got a lot of HP, but his bulk could use a bit of support. This is because Yusuke's attacks in Persona 5 often deal a lot of damage to his HP, so we thought giving him high HP would reflect this. His weapon of choice is the Mabufudyne, a 14 might weapon with the same effects as Miragi Daine that we just went through before. It grants Triangle Adept, and it deals 10 splash damage to the target and foes within 2 spaces after combat. His assist skill is Rally Up Speed, which reflects a similar ability he has in Persona 5. His A slot skill is Fury 4, which reflects, again, his HP damaging skills from Persona 5. It also grants him +4 to every stat, which is very, very useful for someone with already high attack and speed like he does. His B slot is Vantage, which allows him to counterattack first if he is attacked on the enemy phase, if he has low enough HP, which he will reach thanks to the use of Fury 4. Overall, Yusuke is a bit of a worse version of An, though his Triangle Adept as a green unit means he's made for targeting blue units specifically, and his high attack and speed means he'll make a great Blade Tome user if you decide to run something that's not Mabufudyne on him.
The finale.
Have you decided to tread the path of strife?
Yes. Come to me!
Very well. Let us proceed with our contract at once. I am thou. Thou art I. You have finally found your own justice. Please, never lose sight of it again. This memorable day marks your graduation from your false self.
What the hell?
A persona?
No, dude. It's a bike.
I can feel it. Myself. Me! Got it! Wow! Nice! What is that? I've never seen anything like it.
You better earn your keep, or else I'll kill you!
I will not lose heart again. Ever. I'll go full speed, non-stop. Right, Johanna?
Next up, we have Makoto Nijima, known by her codename Queen. Makoto is the student council president at Shujin Academy, in the year above Ren, Ryuji, and An. Makoto is very studious and serious about her future, wanting to follow in the footsteps of her older sister, Sai. She eventually learns to find her own path and step out of Sai's shadow, thanks to the bonds that she made with Ren and the rest of the Phantom Thieves. In Fire Emblem Heroes, Makoto takes on the role of a Blue Mage Cavalier. She is one of the few characters not to be infantry, but instead of riding a horse, she'll ride into battle on Johanna, just like in Persona 5. Her weapon of choice of blue tomes was made to match her persona's focus on nuke skills, which are closest to light magic in Fire Emblem. Makoto's base stats are 40, 40, 38, 15, 23, for a BST of 156. Makoto's a glass cannon, with an offensive spread of 40 over 38, but a pretty bad bulk. Her HP is still high enough to survive a few hits, but make sure you have a healer on hand when using her. Makoto's weapon in Fire Emblem Heroes is Mafredaine, much like An and Yusuke before her. It's a 14 Might Tome with Triangle Adept and 10 points of splash damage. The reference is also the same, so let's just move on to her assist, Harsh Command Plus. This is a skill already in the game, but its utility in reversing debuffs and removing negative status effects goes very well with Makoto's extra movement as a Cavalier. Makoto's A skill is Death Blow 4, a rare skill that's commonly used on glass cannons for its high attack boost. Paired with another rare skill, Makoto's C skill, Resistance Smoke 3, Makoto can make it so her allies can hit just as hard as she does. There isn't really much more to say about Makoto's skills. She's just a good, standard glass cannon. Overall, Makoto will serve her as a glass cannon with supportive options well, as long as you provide support for her in terms of a healer. She does have a unique role amongst Persona characters with her cavalry movement, and her splash damage tome will have her stand out compared to the other blue tome cavaliers already in the game.
Wipe them out! Okay, guys, let's do it! We felt that one! What
forbidden wisdom has been revealed. No mysteries. No illusions shall deceive you any longer.
Futaba! I'm okay! Look at that! Please, help me! That's gotta go!
Next up, we have Futaba Sakura, also known by her codename Oracle. In Persona 5, Futaba Sakura lives at Sojiro Sakura's house under his care after her birth mother passed away due to a tragic accident. She lives by herself in the house as she does not like to see other people, fearing that she will hurt them just like she did her mother. After the Phantom Thieves help her through her problems, she hangs out with them and eventually decides to go to school. In FEH, Futaba is a staff flyer, which is an up-and-coming class type that we've seen many units of. This is to reflect her abilities to fly in her persona, Necronomicon, as well as her healing. Futaba's base stats are 40, 22, 35, 29, 29, for a BST of 155. Futaba has awful attack, but good bulk and speed, as well as HP. This is because in Persona 5, Futaba can't actually attack. She only provides buffs to the team. But since this is FEH, she needs to be able to attack, so we couldn't make her attack stat just 0. In FEH, Futaba's weapon is called the Necronomicon, which is also the name of her persona. It is a staff that has the dazzling staff effect built into it, and after combat, it inflicts attack speed defense res -7 on target and foes within 2 spaces of target through their next actions. This is a very powerful debuff. Futaba's healing assist is called Subrecover HPEX, named after one of Necronomicon's skills in Persona 5. In FEH, it has 2 range and restores HP equal to 50% of the target's maximum HP. It also restores 15 HP to all allies other than the target. This is because Subrecover HPEX restores HP to all of the characters on the field in Persona 5. Futaba also comes with a special skill, Thermopyle. It has 3 cooldown and activates when healing an ally with a staff. It grants attack speed defense res +6 to all allies for 1 turn. This is to reflect her ability to randomly buff allies at the start of a turn in Persona 5. Futaba's A slot is Fortress Defense Res 3. This boosts her defenses by 6, but lowers her attack by 2. This is to further reflect the fact that Futaba cannot attack in Persona 5. Her C skill is Staff Valor 3, which grants extra SP to staff allies, including herself, when on the field. This is just to further emphasize that she is supposed to be a support unit, not an attack unit. Overall, Futaba presents a niche to FEH that isn't really seen in any other character, giving her an attack stat so low that you wouldn't want to attack with her, but if you do decide to attack with her, she provides excellent debuff, as well as providing excellent heal support and buff support with her personal, healing, and special skills. She also has great defensive stats and pretty good speed, so you can expect her to be able to tank a few hits.
Now, why don't you come to my place?
Let's have fun. I'll play with you until I get bored. A high school fiance, what a turn on.
So vulgar. No! Haru's persona won't stand a chance against that! Don't worry! She hadn't awakened to her real power, that's all!
How dare you?
I see you finally made up your mind, my dear fated princess. Freedom for you must stem from betrayal. If you still yearn for it now, then you must not err. Now tell me, who shall you betray?
My heart has been set. You should know.
Yes, that gaze! I can finally display my true strength! I am thou, thou art I! Let us adorn your departure into freedom with a beautiful betrayal!
Jeez!
Farewell, dear father. I am no longer your subservient puppet!
Then so be it. You're worthless. Deal with him how you wish.
You poor thing. I'll toy with you until you break.
I don't expect you to come to reason at all.
Uh-huh. Should have just told you this from the start, asshat!
We are the Phantom Thieves, here to take your bride!
Next up, we have Haru Okumura, also known by her codename Noir. Haru is another student at Shujin Academy, in the same year level as Makoto. She's a quiet girl who tends to keep to herself, preferring to spend time tending to flowers around the school than her peers. She awakened to Persona to fight against her father's wishes, wanting to break free from his control and be her own person. In Fire Emblem Heroes, Haru takes the role of an Axe Knight, being the only armored character on the banner. Though Haru's outfit is actually quite light, her Persona Milady has a very big dress, so we decided to make Haru armored to reflect that. Haru's base stats are 52, 38, 15, 40, 35, for a BST of 180, the highest of the banner. Haru's a good unit, as most armored units tend to be, her only bad stat is being her speed, though she has ways to circumvent this. Haru's weapon in Fire Emblem Heroes is the Fleur de Mal, her best axe in Persona 5. Fleur de Mal has 16 might, grants +3 resistance, and at the start of turn 1, if she has a special equip that is triggered by opposed attack, her specials gain a cooldown of -2. This pairs well with her unique special, Rebel's Guard, based on Joker's down special in Smash Bros. Rebel's Guard acts like an impromptu Tetrakarm and Makarakarm combined, reducing damage taken from an attack by 50%, and then boosting Haru's next attack by the damage she reduced. Haru's bulk is already really good, so reducing the damage she takes will make her an amazing wall. Haru's A skill is Distant Counter, a staple for bulky units that allows her to counterattack against both melee and ranged foes. This allows her to make use of Rebel's Guard against all foes. Speaking of Rebel's Guard, Haru's B skill, Vengeful Fighter, combos very well with it, allowing Haru to make a follow-up attack on enemy phase as well as reduce her special cooldown much faster. Haru's C skill is Armor March, which isn't very good when paired with units on this banner, but it's a staple for armored units in general, so it works well on her. Overall, Haru is your standard bulky armored unit. Good stats and everything except speed, but ways to get around that. Her unique special will make her stand out amongst the bulky armors in this game already, so she at least has her own niche in that.
Time to punish them! All-out attack! Wasn't that graceful?
Here, I'll show you who I really am. Come, Loki!
Again, it's that Persona.
What's going on?
Don't make me laugh. Justice, righteous, keep that shit to yourselves. You and your teammates piss me off.
He can use two separate powers? Then everything, even his appearance was a fake!
You're going down. I'll destroy you. Go down with me!
No way!
That bastard! He made himself go psychotic! Now, let's see you drop dead one at a time in front of your precious friends!
Damn it, he's lost it! Here comes!
Die!
Finally, we have Goro Akechi, also known by his codename, Crow. Akechi is a high school student just like the rest of the Phantom Thieves, though he doesn't attend the same high school as the main cast or Yusuke. Instead, a high school that isn't mentioned often, but he's more known as his role as the Detective Prince, working as a detective for the police of Tokyo. His role in the story is to further along the investigation of the Phantom Thieves by joining up and helping them out. It is then revealed that he is actually the son of Shido, the up-and-coming Prime Minister, and the reason that all of these events are taking place in Persona 5. He betrays the Phantom Thieves and attacks them, but is defeated. However, in Persona 5, he appears to become a party member after this defeat, so the story may change. That is why we decided to include him on this list of characters for a Persona 5 crossover. In FEH, Akechi takes the role of a sword infantry unit, just like Joker. However, his weapon of choice in Persona 5 is actually swords. His base stats are 46, 39, 35, 22, 29, for a BST of 172. If those numbers sound familiar, that's because I've actually read them to you before in reverse. He has the same stats as Joker, though his attack and speed are swapped, as well as his defense and res. This is just to make him parallel to Joker, and not really based on anything that he can do. Akechi's weapon in FEH is Sirius, a 16 might sword that grants speed plus 3. No, not that serious. It grants attack speed, defense, and res plus 5 if he's by himself. Wait, maybe he is that serious. Anyway, his assist skill is called Call of Chaos, which is based off of one of the skills he has as a boss in Persona 5. Call of Chaos acts like the Smite skill, pushing a target ally 2 spaces away, but it also grants bonus doubler to a target ally, which is similar to Ren's Baton Pass. This is to further make them counterparts of each other. Akechi's A skill is Attack Speed Solo, which grants a further plus 6 attack and speed on top of the plus 5 to all of his stats when he's by himself. His B skill is Attack Speed Link 3, which doesn't seem like he would have as a character who wants to be by himself, but it does couple with his Smite-based Call of Chaos, and it grants a further attack and speed plus 6 to himself as well as to an ally who he uses Call of Chaos on. Overall, Akechi is designed to be a very fast and hard-hitting unit, who tends to want to be away from his allies in order to gain more stats on his own. This is to counteract his appearance with Ren, who wants to be a more team-based character, with lots of buffs that he gets when he's nearby. However, this doesn't mean that Ren is better than Akechi, or Akechi is better than Ren. They have different playstyles, and you can even use them in tandem. Whatever you want to do, you can do it.
It'll be a massacre!
Beat him up!
Learned your lesson?
And that's gonna be it. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And
Wait, aren't we forgetting someone?
no, I'm pretty sure we got everyone. I even talked about Akechi, who doesn't really join the party until Persona 5 Royal. Oh!
借りを作ったままの自分とは今日でお別れです。吉沢、まさかペルソナ、今度はサンドリオンと一緒です。
The final unit on this banner is Kasumi. Kasumi is a character exclusive to Persona 5 Royal, which hasn't even come out yet. We don't know much about her, but we do know that she's a first year at Chujin Academy and enjoys gymnastics, specifically rhythmic ribbon. Despite this lack of information, we've got enough to make a Fire Emblem Heroes unit out of her. So let's talk about it. In Fire Emblem Heroes, Katsumi takes the role of a sword unit, just like Ren and Akechi. But she's also a dancer, which makes her unique between the three of them. Katsumi's base stats are 40, 35, 36, 25, 25, with a BST of 161. Katsumi's stats are very basic and even, mostly because we don't know much about her to decide whether she'd be a glass cannon, a nuke, a tank, whatever. So she's just even across the board. Good offenses, good defenses, nothing too spectacular, but nothing detrimental either. This rapier is mechanically identical to the recently added Fina, though it would look like the one she uses in her art. And of course, as a dancer, her assistant is Dance, which allows her to, well, dance. Katsumi's B skill is Firestorm Dance, which is a skill that allows her to grant plus 3 attack and speed to whoever she targets with a dance. A very basic skill for dancers to come with, though most people replace it as soon as possible with something better. Her C skill, Infantry Flash, is a lot more premium, and grants infantry allies high speed stats for reduced special cooldown. Katsumi's really making her own as a support unit. Overall, Katsumi is a typical dancer with not much to set her out from the crowd. This is unfortunately a byproduct of her not being a playable character yet. But if they ever add the Phantom Thieves into Fire Emblem Heroes, she would absolutely make it.
いろいろ助けてもらった恩、いつか必ず返しますから。前に言った約束、忘れないでくださいね。
Alright guys, that's really the end of the video. I promise there are no other characters after Kasumi. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up so that I know that you guys like these styles of videos and I can continue to make them. I'd like to give a huge thanks and shout out to Skull from ThePhanSite, who agreed to join me on this project and helped me make sure that it was as much Persona as it was Fire Emblem. I'd also like to give a special thanks to Master Enix, who animated the Kasumi Approaches trailer from Smash Bros. Into our video. I couldn't have done it without him because my editing software is bad. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I post new videos, and until next time, bye guys!